The third drill in our core stability footwork drills is called swivel hips. The first one was dominant drop. The second one was non-dominant drop. And this drill combines both of those. It's also a first footwork drill that we'll do that has an element of escape from the pocket in it. So I'm going to show you the whole drill now, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about the body positions you want to maintain as you do the drill, and then the purpose of the drill. So Anton's going to start back. On a coach's command, he's going to turn to non-dominant. He's going to go back to dominant, and then he's going to run. Okay, let's do that one more time. He's going to start back dominant. We're going to signal him to turn. He'll turn to non-dominant. He's going to turn back to dominant, and then he's going to run. Okay, so the significance of this drill is we want to make sure, since we already know how to do dominant and non-dominant, that when we hit our back foot, we hit this back foot, we want to turn right around our spine. So what you'll see here is you'll see Anton doesn't make a circle when he turns. He hits his back foot and simply replaces his front shoulder with his back shoulder and goes straight into non-dominant drop. Okay, so we'll go back again. Now he's doing this on a coach's command. In other words, as he starts back, he's going to look at my finger, and then when I point to the other side, he's going to flip his hips, hit your back foot, and turn straight around. Notice how his front foot gets all the way around in that crossover footwork position, and his shoulders remain open the whole time when he does this. His head is nice and stable. He doesn't run a circle. He just turns right around his spine and continues down in the non-dominant position. Okay? Then once on my next command, he's going to turn back right on that back foot to dominant drop. And you can see how smoothly his footwork is. Non-dominant to dominant. And then the last command, he's going to turn and run. Okay? The way you do this is each of these cones is set up 5 yards apart. So this is 0, 5, 10, 15, and 20. I'm going to turn him every 5 yards. So he's watching me. I'm going to point back. Then I'm going to turn him to his right or his non-dominant. Then at the other 5 yards, I turn him again. And then the second to last cone, I point and he jogs through. I will then walk down to the other end, and I'll do the same thing coming back. So he's going to go down this 20-yard area with doing swivel hips, and then he'll turn around and come back another 20 yards. So on all these core stability footwork drills, we always go down, and then we come back. So it's really 2 sets of 20. All right? The same positions of his body to do this drill that were in dominant and non-dominant drills are the same. We want the ball held on his back of his chest or his sternum. His toes are pointing out to the side. His head's going to remain nice and stable. His shoulders remain stable. We don't rock the ball, and they're going to be slightly open so that he has a good view of left and right. His feet are going to move in rhythm. He's not going to step outside the framework of his body, so you can see his steps are always right underneath his shoulders, and this allows him to always be in a position to maximize the push against the ground, and it always allows him to be in a position, if he did have to stop and throw, he'd have his back foot right under his armpit to be able to push and get the ball out quickly. Okay? He's turning, as we mentioned, he's turning right around his spine. So we know that he's making a good quick turn with his back foot and turning around his spine. It's like that, right? I do this drill 2 ways. The first way is as he goes back and I point, I'll say turn. Then the next time I'll point and say turn again. And then the last one I'll say run. Then I also do it as a way to get him used to his eyes and feet working together. In other words, when you play quarterback and you drop back, your eyes tell you what you see and what to do, and then your feet have to respond to that. So I then will do the drill and I won't say any verbal commands. I'll just point and he'll go back and he'll watch my finger. So that gives me an opportunity to see if his eyes and feet can work in harmony, so that when he's actually going to look at defenders and he's going to look at receivers, his feet can respond to what he sees. All right. The other important thing is of this drill that we start to do is we start to develop footwork that will allow him to escape the pocket if he gets a bunch of inside rushers. In other words, if he got rushers that were coming up into this way, he would have to get out of that pocket. And anytime you get out of that pocket, you hit your back foot and you turn. You hit your back foot and you turn to get out of the pocket. So in this particular case, he hit that back foot, and if it was a rusher and he wanted to escape this way, he'd be ready to go. He'd gain ground as he went, and he could escape that way. And then on this foot, if he was on that particular phase of his drop back, he'd hit this back foot and he could escape out of the pocket that way. So that's the other purpose of this swivel hips drill, is we develop really good hips. We develop really good foot movement by going non-dominant, non-dominant, dominant to non-dominant, and then turning and running. But we also give him the footwork to escape the pocket versus inside rushers. So here's swivel hips again. Dominant to non-dominant, back to dominant, and then he's going to run. And as I mentioned earlier, we do that for 20 yards down, turn around, and come back 20 yards. That's the third drill in the core stability quarterback footwork series.